Hello and welcome to Word TV. I'm Anastasia Tabanos. While at HostingCon, we had the opportunity to catch up with executives from Rackspace Managed Hosting, Exo Communications, and the newly merged The Planet and EV1 Servers, and put them side by side on a panel as Isabel Wang prompted them to discuss everything from the general state of the industry to the intimate details of their companies. Here's the third and final part of an exclusive Word TV Roundtable discussion.
Blue, what do you see the role of service as being in the hosting space at Rackspace? Where do you see your value proposition breakdown? Is it 50% service, 50% infrastructure, or what's more important?
Well, at Rackspace we really believe it's a service business. So we are 100%. We think it's more like 80-20 service over infrastructure. So. Our goal is to build one of the world's greatest service companies, and the way you do that is by helping businesses run applications reliably and easily. The whole notion of what we do is about allowing companies, including software vendors, to do what they do best, which is whatever they do. For a media company, it's develop entertaining content. For a software company, it's build compelling software. And we take care of keeping things running. And we want to do that with a customer experience that puts them at ease completely and gives them as many cycles to do what they do best all the time. So we view it as we are not in the colo business. We are not in any of the hard infrastructure parts of the business. We want to be in the complex hosting business where we're providing a number of services with every single customer. So we view it very much as a service business.
How about you, Barbara? How do you see Exo's breakdown?
I think sort of similar in that the infrastructure is what enables the services, and what customers buy are services that buy value, and they buy things that serve their business. So I consider ourselves to be in the services business. Even in the greater XO, we're in the telecommunication services business, but specifically in hosting, we're in the hosting services business. And while I do have a small part of my business that's colocation specifically, even that is really a services business, because the things that matter to customers are the SLAs and how fast they can open a trouble ticket, how fast it gets resolved, whether it's they want to come on site or whether it's that you're going to go do the reboot or the upgrade or whatever for them. And definitely on the SMB hosting side of the business, it's all about the services, and they don't care at all what's on the back end. They don't buy technology, they don't buy infrastructure. So infrastructure just is the enabling part of it. And so I consider, when I look at our business, I say we're really a software services business because we're an application services business.
Doug, this is a particularly interesting question for you, because EV1 and The Planet have traditionally been in a managed space where service is a smaller component. Where do you see the breakdown?
So define services to me first.
Service is what's not related to, it's the customer interaction. It's the advice, it's the resolving trouble tickets, it's the not having to do with purchasing hardware and setting up switches. Okay,
so it's a word that I think is misused a lot, and that's why I asked you to define it, because I would tell you we are a services company. We're all services companies. Starbucks is a services company. Shoe companies are services company. We all provide a service to our end user. But when you talk about how you define service is different, we are three different businesses in that area. I think in my particular space, people who are in the same kind of business that EV1 and The Planet are in make a mistake in the services as defined by you, in that you should get what you pay for, and I think that means that you must have an understanding with your end users as to what it is that they are going to get by doing business with you. I used the term earlier about what keeps me awake at night. One of the first questions that I ask is, when I go to work, is, do we have any outages? And everyone always kind of, we worry about those things. That's what we worry about, is making sure our hardware and network and things are up to our customers. The support side is one that I think, everybody can work at harder. Your reputation is what usually drives a lot of people to doing business with you. But when somebody is paying for a $59, $79, $99 server to do web hosting depending on how important it is to their business, is also going to depend on what kind of a service contract, support contract they'd be willing to sign up for. The guys paying for the low end aren't going to want or expect a lot from you. And I think it's a challenge for companies like us to make sure that we are able to support them as much as they need, and then support the other customers who are paying more at a higher level. And so that's a loaded question on services, but I think it's one that will differentiate, and the customers will tell you who has the good company in that line.
Do you think customers understand the line between managed and unmanaged?
No, I do not. And I think that's our job to tell them. And I think it's our job to let them experience that. And I don't think that the industry has done a good job of that.
What else has the industry not done a good job of?
Okay, so now you're really pushing me with all my experience. So let me say what I think there's an opportunity for us at EV1 and Planet to do. I think we have an opportunity to use our scalability to provide a multitude of offerings that people will pay and get what they pay for. And I don't think I see that as an opportunity to be more clarified to customers and define just what you're saying, what managed and unmanaged is. I also think there's an incredible opportunity for us from an automation standpoint to move more and more towards automating a lot of the things that in our business has been manual, semi-manual, and the more that we can do that, the more tools we can pass back to our end users to use to manage theirs, so that it really becomes their servers to manage. So I see that as a big opportunity. I also think there's a big opportunity for us to give more pricing, more of a menu-driven opportunity for when a customer buys our product. They just don't get this. They can choose. The question you asked earlier about storage, do they want more storage? Do they want more bandwidth? What kind of response time in the SLA do they want to get from us? So it's more of a broader offering, a menu, cafeteria style, if you will, and I think for the customer base that, the 46,000 servers that we support, that this is an opportunity for us.
How about you, Barbara? Where do you see the greatest opportunities for XO?
I think, I've alluded to it a bit, but I think really where we see the value and what we see customers looking to us for is not the sort of commoditized hosting services that they can get at a plethora of places, because the industry is very, very fragmented right now, and there are a lot of big players coming in, but really in business services that that will come with an SLA, that will come with support options. You mentioned striding support. We've just recently are starting to roll out some premium support and professional services options, which may sound strange to you when you're looking at the lower end of the market, but businesses do want those things and do need those things, and we've learned that from some of the partnerships that we've had with folks who do things like search engine optimization and email marketing services. And it's not enough just to have a website with a lot of cool widgets on it. You need to be able to have your website get found, and you need to know how to communicate with your customers. So enabling internal business applications and productivity applications, as well as external communication with customers, and those applications and those services that help customers use those applications is really where I think our opportunity lies.
Lou?
Well, I think that this is a pretty simple answer. We're often criticized for being simple and back down to the basics. I just think that I want the industry to become a place that corporate America trusts. I think there's a lot of distrust in the hosting space, and there's been a lot of bad experiences. And corporate IT departments are facing infrastructure demands that they can't handle. They think they can handle them, but I think in time they're going to find that they can't handle them. And what we hope to do is to sort of show to them that they can trust us like they can trust their own people. And I hope that the industry stabilizes and the reputation more broadly just continues to grow, because I think it's great for all of us. And I just think that there's a huge growing market, and it's a matter of creating a customer experience that really allows companies to trust what you're doing, because they're putting a lot of faith in by putting their key applications with you. That is a lot of faith.
I read under your literature that 15 out of the Fortune 100 host with Rackspace. So you think this trend will continue? More and more enterprises will come into the outsourced hosting space?
Yeah, I mean, look, we're not really a Fortune 500 targeted company, but what happens is that we get departments that need infrastructure reliably and quickly, and their IT departments can't handle it. And this is happening all over corporate America, that everyone is looking to add web apps or some type of application, and they need to do it quickly and reliably and securely, and IT departments are having a hard time keeping up. So what we'd love to do is partner with IT departments to give them lots of options to deploy things for their companies, effectively and securely. So I think it is going to continue. I don't think that corporate America is going to approve capital budgets to build data centers. It's just, if you're a media company, that is just not a core. Most media companies don't have printing presses. I don't think that they're going to have data farms. And I think that that's true. A lot of manufacturing companies use distributors because there's not a reason for manufacturing company to own trucks. And I think that the same thing is going to hold with infrastructure.
We talked a little bit about clustering as one of the kind of new areas that hosting is going. What other new technologies do you see us using in the coming 3, 5, 10 years?
I think that technology is changing so rapidly in so many ways. I think that processing power is growing radically. Dual core technologies, storage capacities are growing. Different storage performance levels are emerging. Obviously, virtualization creates opportunities. All this stuff is changing. I think that we have to, all of us have to keep an eye on it and understand it and integrate it, which I think is the key issue, which is that how do you integrate all these technologies so customers can use it effectively? Because being able to partition a server is not great unless you can actually monitor it, manage it, patch it, grow it, move it, all these kinds of things that are critical. So I think that what our job is to take all these advances and make them usable. But there's a whole bunch of change coming, and I think it's all positive. It's all great, and I think that customers are going to be able to get a lot more computing power for their dollar, but they're going to look to us to make it workable and allow them to harness it.
What about you, Barbara? What's one new opportunity that you see?
Right. So I second everything that he said, but I would also add, I think, in the broader technology world, enabling wireless applications and mobile technologies is really key for us as hosters, and there's lots of initiatives in that area. I mean, I saw some interesting statistics just over the weekend. One of my technical guys did a survey of looking at what kind of devices people were pulling email through off our platform. And we're just talking pop mail. I mean, wonderful, robust, highly available pop mail with lots of bells and whistles. But and there was an amazingly high percentage of BlackBerry users that are doing that. Now, these aren't people using a BlackBerry Enterprise server at corporate. They're pulling their pop mail down, and people were using trios and using all kinds of different smartphones. So. And while we have FAQs up that do that, that's not something we've really even pushed, that you have the ability to do that. But users really want it, so they're telling us, give us more of this. And so, we see this with .mobi as the new domain, new TLD, that's very hot right now. We see this with, all of the devices like the Sidekick and at the consumer level, and everybody needs to have their email and then their applications with them. So you see that at the enterprise level, and I think you see that throughout the whole market space and the SME and SMB level as well. So that's something we sort of have our eye on as a technology area that we need to make sure we're able to, as we have new applications and services for customers, that we really consider that.
Doug, you come to web hosting with a lot of hardware and software experience. What technologies out there do you see that this industry is not using but should be?
So I covered pretty much the waterfront, but the one other area that I think really ties to hardware and software is everyone focuses on virtualization as taking servers and splitting them. I think there's an opportunity to go up the other way, which is how do you take servers and strap them together? And there's an interesting dilemma that we all face in the server business is the lifespan of the servers that we use. And today people are wanting to buy specific, the hot stuff, the new Woodcrest technology, and but there is another market opportunity for us and a demand in areas like media, in Houston, in the areas of all the geological data that gets crunched. Of it's an overused term, but compute on demand, scale out computing, virtual computing, whichever one you want to use, but having the ability for people to buy cycles on an as-need basis. There's still an amazing number out there that just is mind-boggling, that 24% of all computer technology in corporate America sits idle. And the reason it's there is because they've had to build for the peak demand. And the hardware and software companies have never given corporate America the ability to manage to a better number than that. And I think the hosting business, once we overcome the image that we have, and we provide the service and the reliability, that we can very effectively pick up a lot of that. And if you think of 25% cutting IT hardware and software, 25%, you'll never get to that, but there's a massive amount of money that could be made in the hosting business if we just take a piece of that and have the ability to supply that. And I think someone will get in that space in our business.